So when you fished them in that 7 to 10 feet of water, that shallow part there, were you same kind of thing, pulling cranks or crawler harnesses or spinners?
Crawler harnesses, yeah. I use a 2-ounce bottom bouncer, and I use a 2-ounce bottom bouncer because I can use that in 5 feet of water, and I can also go pull down a break and use that 2-ounce bouncer as deep as 30, 32 if I need to. And my key in that bottom bouncer when I pull spinners is using a 45-degree angle. Man, I want to keep that 45-degree angle. And I want to touch the bottom, but keep it off the bottom. If I drag those rocks that we were in, if I drag those rocks with that lead, it would get snagged. I promise you it would. So you got to touch it quick and keep it off the bottom. Same thing with the mud, though, where I'm not going to get snagged. I purposely want to be able down there, but I don't want to drag that mud necessarily. Sometimes that'll produce a bite, but more often than not, I'm going to touch that bottom and just keep it a crank or two off the bottom so that spinner's going right above those fish. And tell you what, that's kind of the ticket. But what I see, Brad, and doing seminars and stuff, so many anglers when they either drift or troll with a bottom bouncer and a spinner, they use a light bouncer, like a 1-ouncer. I really want to encourage anglers, try that 2-ounce bouncer. It feels heavy at first, but boy, that gives you total control to go up, down, and all around. It's not too heavy. And then what happens is, and that you're gonna feel like there's a little, they'll grab onto it and it feels like kind of a wet washcloth hanging on there. They don't always hammer it, they don't always tap it. It's like a little bit of extra weight, but there's no weeds in these areas. So you give them 1001 and sweep that hook set. The other thing I'll tell you is when you're using, for instance, a 2-ounce bottom bouncer and a crawler, when you hook that crawler, that first hook it right in the dark part of that crawler and the tough head. Straighten that crawler out. You don't want it curved. Hook that second hook up. You want it straight. And then you're going to have about that much crawler left. And you don't want to leave that on there because the walleyes will hit it and they'll miss a hook. So what you do is you pinch that crawler off so you have about that much crawler hanging off that back hook. It's plenty. Because when you look at that much crawler, plus your beads, plus your blade, by the time you're looking, you got an offering that long, plenty big for a walleye. You'll catch everything on it. So what's going to happen is by having that short tail on your back hook, you're gonna hook up most of the time. You're not going to miss those fish. So just little tricks like that. There's times when panfish will nip me off, and I got just a little nub. When that whole offering is still that long, you'd be surprised how many big walleyes they catch with just that much crawler.
So are you trolling or drifting then?
No wind, so we were trolling.
Oh, no wind.
So I had the electric trolling motor down. I had the big motor up in case we got a little too skinny. And, I was using that for control with a remote controller on my neck. And I was using the remote controls. You could use a foot pedal if you had that, or a transom mount, whatever. But the point is we were going 1.25 miles per hour. That 1.25 miles per hour is kind of the go-to speed. Yep, it can be a little less. It can be a little more, but that's kind of my go-to speed. And that'll get me that 45-degree angle on that bottom bouncer, which is so important. If you start getting way behind the boat, especially in shallow water, you get snagged out. But even in deeper water, for some reason, the angle of the dangle makes a difference in how many walleyes you catch. And that 45 degrees is a ticket, I'm telling you.
Hear more at sportingjournalradio.com or wherever you get podcasts.